Good evening, good morning, or good day, depending on the time that you're watching this stream slash video. Thank you so much for tuning in again. So, in today's episode, I want to present set number 76903, and I want to build it in this stream, and afterwards, I'm going to discuss it a little bit. It's consisting of two cars from the Speed Champions series. In detail, uh, it's two cars from the brand Chevrolet. Um, in particular, models from the Corvette line. An older one that's kind of a classic, and then a race car from today. All right, so I already um, opened the bottom part to make it a little easier to empty the box. And this time, this build consists of two different instruction manuals. One for the older car and one for the newer one. So I would see this one as number one. So we're going to start with the newer edition. And I'm just going to put these to the side because, as you can see on screen already, I have the PDF instruction manual opened for ease of usage. Alright, so as we can also see, for both of these cars we are getting a separate sticker sheet, which is a little bit much in my opinion. Oof. There's like, wait, let me just see. Yeah, there's 29 different stickers on the first one, and then for the older model, thankfully it's a little bit less, with only 17. So a grand total of only 46 stickers, if I'm counting this right. So, well, I have some opinions about this, but I will come to that later. First, I want to get into the build a little bit. I will just start with the first bag. The other one we can just put to the side, and we also get a bunch of different wheel hubs for later on when we finish the build. Alright, so for building, I will scoot the camera in a little bit so that the parts are visible a little bit better. And also let's switch to a different view where you have my webcam as well, so I'm not just talking without a face. Alright, so without my face being visible, sorry. Alright, let's get started with the first of the two instruction manuals. I think it's also something to appreciate that at least they also include manipulation in this, where they could just as well to put the cars in without. So, also like a hero or something that you can make on quickly. Alright. It's only one-sided print on the head, but they give you two different head parts with it, which is also something, I suppose. Like, not head parts, accessories, I would say, yeah. and also a little wrench. Alright, and then you can just put it to the side and just show it to you really quick. Alright, alright. So let's actually get into building this. As you can see, we have the same sort of base structure as we have with basically all the Speed Champion series cars nowadays. And also we had the same structure when we built the minifigure scale Batmobile, the Tumbler. So to show you the first axle that we built, it's just getting secured with these plates up top. And this whole thing up here, this is one base part that they have in most of these cars. Oh wait. Oops. Sorry, I was just staring at this very questionable when I did not realize that I'm actually just putting it on the wrong way. Alright. Yeah, this fits a lot better. So. And for the front side, it's just this filler part. And we already have both axles attached. I also want to mention the very similar and very fitting colors for the inside of this build so far. Yeah, we all know that orange, especially this bright orange, is a very much used color at constructing the bottom of a car. Especially also the red or the yellow or the brown. It feels a little bit like they just basically grabbed into the color palette of bricks that they had overproduced and just smashed everything in that they had. Especially also this color, like this is turquoise. We are building a gray car. I just want to mention that again. We are building a gray car. It's hilarious. Continuing with a little bit of the orange, because I suppose that was what they had to use up. All right, building up a little bit of the side panels. Sure. Continuing the theme, what follows after orange? It apparently is green. And some nice turquoise. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the color turquoise, and I think the turquoise brick separator is my favorite color. I always use this one. I also have turquoise nails at the moment. But at the same time, like, why is this in this car? Why is this in this build? Does not really match anything, just as well as the blue following up. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand that their reasoning behind it sometimes is the ease of building experience, but you're not really layering that much right now. I showed you a build that basically consisted of one color yesterday, which is the the brick built Grogu from the Lego Star Wars lineup. That is a 10 plus set, which consists of constantly layering one color over the other. Very, I have to say, even I sometimes had a little bit of a struggle to layer that. But this also is, yeah, this is an 8 plus set. And here they think these 2 years of difference, I don't know, justify this. I think it's also very sad because you cannot rebuild any of it because of it. Like, you cannot do anything with these parts besides build exactly this model. Like, what do you use bright orange or turquoise for? So we're starting with the front side fenders. Finally, we're reaching the color that we're actually supposed to reach. I suppose now we're building the engine or some things, which is supposed to resemble that. I am not completely sure though. But what I appreciate is that they have used a chrome version of the iron ingot, which you can hopefully see here in the webcam. So besides that, it's just two red tiles that they put on each side, and then there is two jumper plates in the middle of this. Oops, sorry, which are holding this in the middle. Let's see what is following this step. One, nothing important so far. Okay, let's see what that actually is supposed to be. Ah, yeah, it's supposed to be the top side of the motor cover, as opposed to the cylinder cover. Oh, look. Like the plastic cover for that, honestly, just decoration. But yeah, you can see it a little bit like on the real car, I suppose. That's a cool little detail. Like, sometimes they do not include any sort of uh, engine parts in this build, so it's nice that they thought of that. Following it up is a yellow bumper which will also not be seen apparently. So yeah, using up some more parts that we didn't need, and two blue little stuffs. I like how the middle part is now aligned with different one by one um, rounded tile bricks. I'm not exactly sure how to call them. Baguette bricks, I guess, but they're one by one, so they don't have the length of the regular baguette bricks. All right, we have a separate part to build, consisting of a bunch of tiles and jumper plates, which will probably be the front part of it. The splitter, probably. Oh no, never mind. That is the back of the seats. Hilarious. It's just like a couple of slopes put on it. And now we are putting it here into it. That's a rather interesting technique. So there's two slots here up top. And because this has a liner to it, we can actually align it here with the plate on the bottom. And it just slides in. And as you can see, the back, oh, it's not this, the back side of the seats is like the front part, I suppose. If I'm not mistaken. Maybe we're building the backside. Are we building the backside? Since when does a Corvette have the motor in the back? I very much doubt that. No. We will see. We will see. Yeah, we're definitely building the front side. It's kind of cool. So we put some greebling on both sides. The front side here holds this part in place now. right. Hmm. It's a little bit wobbly on the front side, but you can't really influence that. So besides that, we're putting on plates on both sides. Making everything a little bit more rigid. Sorry, I think it should be a little bit better this way. All right, just had to fix my microphone a little bit. Interesting. I think, yeah, we're actually building the backside of this. Hmm. Which makes a lot more sense in terms of how the seats would look like. But it's interesting in terms of what this actually should be. It's like the back seat window, which makes me a little bit sad because they did not include anything for the engine. Probably then again. Sorry, by the way, for mistaking it. I hope you can bear with me. All right, so we are done with a couple of things on the backside. We have put up these slope pieces and more of the yellow lining up here, and the shape is starting to take form. All right, so I have finished the first step besides putting on the stickers, and we can see the overall shape of it by now a little bit better. All right, and we are putting on the first 7 stickers. Hmm. I I gotta say that's really not the most fun, and it has to be like really straight too, which is not exactly centered with this. Oh, I will show you when I'm done, but I'm usually really not great at this. So bear with me when it is a little bit screwed up. Like I mentioned a couple of times in earlier streams, I am a big fan of pad printed pieces, like for example other companies do. And Lego can very much print pieces in a rather good quality too. They just don't want to. It's just too expensive for them, which is hilarious when you think about it. They are the biggest brand for this sort of product on the market. So the fact that they don't just do not care is kind of sad. It would look way better if these pieces here would actually have a print, because as you can see, for example, this looks like the 8-year-old that is supposed to build this has actually built this by now. Because it's just terrible and it's just like a little bit scooted off. They also do not give you a second try with another sticker sheet, so you basically stuck with this now. Why do I still put them on? Because I think it gives the model at least a little bit of a look. I'm not sure if it's always a better look, but at least it completes it a little bit more. Otherwise, it's even more empty. And yes, I I gotta say there is the argument of this being a race car. You could just leave away the race car stickers and it would already look a bit better. But for example, these ones here on the side are not in the slightest decals or anything like that. These are supposed to be, I think, either the windshield on the back window, so to say, or some sort of air vents or air ducts. No matter what it's actually supposed to be, it looks terrible when it's not a print, huh? Oh, and there's also more little ones too. Just a second, I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so we placed both of these side vents too, and on the right I screwed it up a little more than on the left side. But well, what can you do? I have to say, this is where it's at now. I can not do anything against it. Like I said, you cannot change it. They do not give you anything extra. So we're just gonna continue with the second part of this little car and continue the build with that. I'm gonna try to be delicate in opening it so I'm not too annoying with the sounds that it makes. It's also very colored again. So it's definitely not a question. They wanted to get rid of some colors with this set, I guarantee. Other than that, we have to use the first set of wheel hubs. So that you can see, I will put them here. And also we have this sticker sheet here. And also this. Yes. Alright. Then let's continue. So to remind you where we've been, this is how it's looking at the moment. And now we're going to add the front part. building up some structure. Some nice red and some blue and some brown. All of the colors. It's like a little rainbow in there. If you like that, then it's great. I usually love rainbows. I love a lot of colors. I just don't know if I love it that much when it's about building a model like this because like I mentioned before already, you are very much stuck with exactly what you have here because, yeah, like I said, stuff like turquoise. I mean, by now we would have enough turquoise to actually do something with it, probably. But just because they hand you so many little 2x2 plates. All right. All right. So the left side has gotten this little side bracket, which is achieved by this part up here. Just a second, I will point at it. Here there's like this one by one brick, which has a little connector piece. On the other side, we have just build up this part, and we're just putting this in so that the other side also has an upper part here to connect to. Oh, you see it when I put it here. Wonderful. All right. So we just put in the steering wheel, but I hope that you can see this here. Should be good. Yeah, and some more stabilization on the front with this brick. At least they used black here. This fits very well up top. And that's the thing, like, as long as you just look at it as the model that it is, at the when it's finished, it looks wonderfully because all the colors are matched then. And it's just in the middle of it, they just use up whatever they have. Oh, for some reason, there is a printed tie piece that I would have nearly put into the wrong place. So I'm putting up more plates. All right. So I think the side is actually done very cool with this different sorts of plates connecting in different angles and shapes. All of that is pretty cute, I think. I guess I'm putting up all the stickers, even though this now is basically just the, the team stickers, the number and stuff like that. But I suppose when we started, we can already finish it completely. All right, this looks. Does this look right? Yeah. Um, I hope it's a little bit crooked on the bottom to the top side, but yeah, I don't wanna. Um, I don't wanna waste too much time on it. I know I'm not gonna get them very straight anyway. Doing the second side basically the same way. I guess I'll show you once we put in the stickers on the other side. If we're even putting on stickers, because at the moment they are just continuing to the front side. Then, well, I'll just show you really quick. As you can see, both sides are built completely the same, just mirrored to the other one. Alright, so let's continue to the front. I don't mind the yellow in the front up here, I guess, even though there is not supposed to be any yellow in the front in this car. Well, then I actually mind it a little bit. But it's just complementing the green and the red and the blue, and that all of these colors are also not fitting at all. It's just so much color, like a rainbow, like I mentioned earlier. And the yellow on the sticker, by the way, is not the same as the yellow underneath. I'm just realizing that. Like the color is different. Like with most of their stickers, they don't match their actual color. Na voll. We're building part of the front panel. I guess a part of the splitter. Just to show you really quick, the print on the windscreen actually is there. At least there's no sticker for the windscreen. That would be really bad because the windscreen stickers are just terrible to put on. And the one printed tile piece up here. I think that's the side part of the front splitter. Alright, so the overall shape of this is rather cool, I think. I mean, there is a sticker going on there, but I will show it to you before then. The angle looks really kind of okay. Let's see what. Oh god. Number 29. Some little decal that's held in a completely different color and looks kind of cringe when you put it on. I don't know. I do not appreciate that, but I appreciate the form of the top, of the angle that it creates with the cheese look. Alright, let's see how this looks when we put a little bit more parts together. Thank you so much for the follow. I very much appreciate it. It's so nice of you. Alright. The right side of the splitter is held in the same way as mentioned, just mirrored to it. Once I finished putting up the sticker, I will show you how bad I did it again. Alright, so as you can see, also the second side is just as bad. But when we connect it to the main frame, main body, I like the look of the top on how this angle carries on into the front here. That's kind of cool. Alright, now we are having some sloped pieces for the front to actually get the form of the hood in a little bit better. Which is actually completing the look rather well. I very much like how this is dragging the form into it, like from the side of it. and dragging this angle across into the bonnet itself, or the hood, as you call it. Oh, thank you so much for also following me on Instagram. I very much appreciate that too. All right, the front fenders are also looking rather finished by now. Putting up a lot of the plates up top. I think the look of it is really good by now. I'm pretty sure there's a little bit more build up coming up now, but I'm rather pleased with how it looks by now. As you can see, like as long as you do not have the half built project, it's looking totally okay. And it's just in the middle of it, they just use up all the colors they do not need. Like I still have a little bit of orange left. It's really not supposed to be in this thing though. So we are having another sticker to put onto the build. Also, I'm not sure I screwed it up rather a little bit. It is not over the edge at least. It's always the worst when you have like a very long, flat sticker and you are just sticking it off like I don't know a millimeter to the side on one of the parts. I was like, God damn it! I don't want to take it off again because then you know the edges are never sticking on it properly anymore once you take it off, right? So it's the struggle is real. I know there would be like this sort of way to actually how's it called? You use dishwashing soap like just a little bit in a spray bottle of water. It's the same like when you apply, for example, stickers on real car parts. For example, the fo- the how's it called? Um, the big sticker parts that you the decals, for example. You would also mount in the same way, I suppose. Or if you have these protective the screen protectors for your iPad or for your phone, it would also be the easiest way to like use a little bit of dishwashing liquid with water, with a lot of water actually, dilute it quite a bit, and put it into a spray bottle and put that on the screen like very lightly, or the better way, even put it on the sticker surface, like on the protective glass, and just then align it on the device that you want to put it on, and just like press it out with a credit card or some other flat surface item. It's usually getting a much better um, result than when you just, for example, put it on with just like cleaning it up regularly first. But yeah, who has the time to do that for this sort of little model kits? Oops. Well, it's rather crooked, but I think it doesn't really matter that much. It's being sandwiched by a couple of other parts on the bottom and the top side. So at least it can be like pushed into the side a little bit on the overlapping parts. So by now we are just mirroring the side look. I will just show you in just a second. So it's looking like this by now. Alright, now the other side is getting the decals for the numbers and the little advertisement stuff. Alright, so we're having the other side too. Just basically mirrored of this one, but still making some progress. Now we're putting on another 7 stickers. I feel like it's a little bit of an art project just because that's the only thing that I'm doing for half the time. It's ridiculous how many there are in this one, to be honest. There's also ones that are supposed to be rather well aligned, like the one in the front. I will zoom into it a little bit. Like you can see, it's supposed to be one uh, flowing line for the um, how is it called, for the headlights. But the problem with it is it's two stickers on different level surfaces. So yeah, I very much screwed that one up a little bit. Oh, well, I said I screwed up the last one. I screwed up this one like way more. Like now it's really apparent that it's just two parts. Ah, well. But like I mentioned, I think it's ridiculous that they handle it in this sort of approach. Getting done more of the more parts on the top side. Here you can drastically see the color difference, by the way, beside between the regular yellow and the sticker colored yellow. Also a rather questionable decision in my opinion. With the gray, it's not as apparent, at least, and still a little bit on the camera. Thankfully, it's not as visible. in real life, I can tell you it is a little bit more drastic. Let's see if this webcam takes it up a little better. Like, can you see the color difference better in this? Probably not. All right, I think that should be all the ones that you wanted to place. Yes. So, for the mirrors, this time they used little red plates. I think this actually fits quite well. I like that design as well as the window. I think it's also rather good. And now you also kind of already see the shape of it quite well. The backside is still missing, so we are adding this one now. Some turquoise, just for the sake of it, I guess. Alright. So we are at the backside. Putting plates together for rigidity. And then we will get to the back diffuser. Well, we don't have much left. Like, it's crazy how many stickers are on this thing. Alright, just to show you where we are at this point, we are continuing with the top side here, and down at the bottom we have put some cheese globes already. This will be used for the spoiler part on the bottom and the top side. Before then, let's put on the rest of the plates to get a little bit more of a rounded look. Alright, adding the exhaust tips to the bottom side here. I'm curious, I hope you can see it. Rather bad because it's black on a black background, so that's like kind of getting um, a little bit muted by it, but yeah, I think you can clearly make it out. Alright, and now we're just filling up the bottom side. I actually very much like the look of this. I think this is looking quite cool. Alright, some more stickers before we are done. Oh, I thought I aligned it wrong, but as it turns out, the lights are supposed to be aligned a little bit crooked because the sticker has this print on in a crooked way. I suppose it's, well, it still looks terrible, but it's fitting to the instruction manual. Alright, so we have finished the backside view. We have 5 more stickers and the diffuser part. And this we will attach to the backside here. So as you can see, we have a bunch of studs open, and this just hooks to it. But that's rather cool, I think. Alright, what's missing are the spoiler and the wheels. Alright. So I gotta say, this one here in the back, for example, you could just leave the sticker off too. But like I mentioned, I'm putting it on at this point just to complete the look. And when you're a little bit farther away, at least you cannot really tell. When they're crooked a little, you can tell if they're crooked too, more than just a little. But I'm trying to keep it as low as possible with the screw ups on this. Alright, so we have the spoiler mounted on. It's just on these 2 clamps that you can set it to as you like. Alright, and then it's just putting up the wheels. So the wheels are actually already connected to the tires. It's just like one part by now. There is some rubber surface on it, and it also has a design of a brake caliper like in the back. Let's see if we can actually tell. Yeah, you can see the drilling holes for the brake caliper, I think. And we are putting the wheel caps on that side so that it actually looks fitting, because on the instruction manual I think they actually put it on the other way. If I look at it properly, which does not fit at all. Alright, So these are the last parts that we need to do. And now we have already finished our first build, which was the modern race car version of the Corvette. So we are going to set this aside. Do you see this here? It's probably a little bit annoying for me here. I'll just leave it in this position so that you can actually see it a bit. While we continue on with number 2. Already opened it up. And now we're building the classical version of it. Alright. Let's continue on. So, just before, I'm just wanting to show you the sticker sheet one more time. This was just for the first build. This is quite substantial. It's basically just as big as a car. For the second one, thankfully, it's a little bit less. For this, it's more like the... What do we actually have? We have the number plate, we have the lettering for the naming, and we have, for example, the Corvette logo and a little bit of the chrome on the side. So it's not actually as terrible. I think this is bearable. It's not great, but I understand it for the price tag that you cannot print all these pieces. Whereas with this, some of it is it's just a little ridiculous. Especially because when they try to match the color of the actual part, sadly, most of the time it does not work out properly, and it's just creating sort of a weird effect to it, to be completely honest with you. Alright. So, let's continue with the minifigure before we start the build of the car. Also here, we only have a one-sided head, or like one-sided head print. And sadly also no printed leg piece or anything like that. But we are getting this switchable helmet for some reason, while the male figurine here has gotten a little wrench. for the for the female minifigure, they wanted to save that for some reason. Wonderful. So something interesting. Well, they save where they can, so I'm not even saying that's supposed to be sexist or anything like that. They just want to save as much as they can wherever they can. Well, it's something to at least mention, I suppose. Alright, and as you can tell, also here we have the same sort of base plate. Alright, so here we are not even building up anything for the edges themselves. They just times two them and just put them to the front and the back. I guess the spacing between the wheels is a little bit shorter on this one. Or we will see. Wait, so it's here and it's here. Actually the distance between them is quite a little bit more. Like I think I think 2 starts. Yeah, a start or two. Alright, this red looks very much different from what it looks like in an instruction menu, actually. Just some more plating in the front. So the red on the bottom, I think, is the color it's supposed to be in. And now we're continuing on with some nice sand colored bricks. Wonderful. Alright, as you can see, we're just building up the sides. And we are continuing with some G-slope pieces or like on the side rows, where we are lining them up properly. So I can already tell if you need a bunch of these dark red pieces, especially G-slopes or plates, then this is probably not even that bad of a set, just because this color is not used that much, I think. For house or like for house roofs, it could be looking kind of cute. Like the red here is, I think, is like kind of nice. It's like a dark lipstick colored red, and it's by now it's simulating, like, I guess the, how is this part called, like the bottom line of the side skirt, or like, yeah, the side skirt itself, I suppose. All right. Also in the front, continuing on with some green for some reason, and some white up front too, all of which are colors not fitting here at all. But you know, it needs to be used somewhere. These parts are actually quite cool. They are not produced for that long by now, I think. It's these little cross-section plates which they use to align them. What can you see where? Like, there is this space left free, and they fit very well and give quite a lot of structure. Structural integrity, I suppose. And then we're just putting a jumper plate into the middle of it. And on the side, we already start putting these mounting points where the rest of the side skirts and the doors will go later on. Alright, as you can see here in the front, there's more build up. A little bit of turquoise left again. But I have to say, I like turquoise a lot. Like, I like the color turquoise. I think it's really cute, at least. It does not fit in the sets, but at least it's usable in some other ways, I suppose. I'm not sure in how many ways you are going to use the color turquoise, besides maybe in like building a little neon sign or something like that. But you know, maybe if you're creative, you can make do with it. Because what I definitely want to already mention a little bit, which I will also mention at the end in the review part of this video, Um, the, the Speed Champion series is always just a great suggestion for parting it out, because usually these sets have a good price per piece ratio and rather matching parts, or at least parts that can be used in some ways. For example, here they needed to use a lot of this red, this dark red, this chimney red, so to say, I guess is what you can call it, which can be quite nice for some builds, like for example rooftops or, well, chimneys. So that's something to consider. Now there's just a little bit of a build up. I'm not really sure which part that we are actually building up right now, but I suppose we started at the backside again, so it will be very likely that it will be something there. Alright, so this is where we at right now. We have just put a bunch of these little things here and aligned them properly. And now we're just securing them with some extra plates, using some of turquoise. Alright, this is how it's looking right now. And apparently, this is the number plate and the name of it. Number 5 is done very slim, but I've never put a sticker on the flat side, like the flat straight side of a G-slope. For a reason, it's horribly to align. It's way too small to actually like fit it properly too. Oh, I swear this is really like the lower one has worked a little bit. The top one, as you can clearly see, has not worked at all. But I'm just not gonna show it to you too much then. At least it's not as apparent, I suppose. Oh god. Alright, so they are just mirroring the side pieces now. So that's basically the back bumper that we are building. Let's just put up together the second second side, and you can mount it here. Alright, so this is where it's at right now. The corner, or like the shape of the rounded corners here, is already coming together. I kind of like that already. And now just putting up two light bluish gray plates up top, 3 by 2, and we're mounting it to the bedside. With, by the way, there is this plate here with the connectors, and here there's the other side where there's two holes where you can put studs in. And now we're just gonna put this together. And as you can see, looks rather well. I like how they continue this angle out here and going up to this side. Like from here, following up until you reach the bedside bumper. That's kind of cool. And now it's getting a little bit more rigidity with this 1 by 5 plates with the Technic pin in the middle. All right. All right, just putting up a little bit of plating and fixing the bottom parts to the top side. And now it will continue with more of the side build. I think the building techniques in some of these sets, especially in the Speed Champion series, are really rather cool too. Like especially in the backside of this ice build, kind of cool. Like if you look how they used to, or how they did this, as a G slope at the front with the stick up here where I completed it. Up here, it's this white connector piece, and the dark red piece with the side connectors going up top and hitting the backside of the G-slope so it doesn't fall off. And here on the side, there's little panels too. And probably now it will get a bit of a side piece. Ah, yes, as I can already see, with the brake lights that we are still missing. So I very much like this stud on the side technique, where it's like a little bit of a more intricate building style. So because this is wanted to be built twice, I will already just do the first 2 steps. Or the just the first few steps for both of the parts. Alright, so the first brake light is done. As you can see, it will be fitted in with this side here. And I can already show you. So it's here, as I mentioned, there's dots open, and we're just sliding this in here. Let's finish the second side. Alright, and the second side is also done in the same way. And now we have this nice, a little bit chunky look that the original one is supposed to have as well, I think. And it's looking really cute with the brake lights being implemented like this. It would look way better if I would have not screwed up the nameplate in the back. But as long as we ignore that a bit, I think the overall design of this is really cool. Now it's basically just fixing everything together, putting plates on top to get a little bit more rigidity out of it, and putting some slopes on there to finish the backside of it. As you can see, that's getting there. Now it's the final couple of red pieces in the back. We still have a little bit open, and that's all just finished with the side pieces and plates. Alright, and that side is done. Looks good. Oh, it even has a little bit of a hinted at handbrake. That's cute. As you can see, we are building the interior by now. So we're building the part of the steering wheel that will be fitted into the um, main part of this little car. Even implementing the stick shift that it had. That's so cute. I'll show you in just a second. So this is probably not the best to see, but it should be possible if I turn it right. I hope that you can see what I mean. Like there is this little part in the middle that's supposed to be um, the gear shift or the gear knob, I suppose. All right, and now before being finished with the first step of this car, we just have to put on some more stickers. I think this one did not went that well. Let's see if we can get the other side a little better. I fear I gotta say, like the trans clear stickers are always the biggest hassle because, as you will see on the side, it's just not really easily doable without like always having a little bit of air enclosed into it somewhere, and you can see it, and it just creates a weird surface look to it. And also, I think my sticker sheet got a little bit bent and hit up during packaging, or like in the package, because when you look at this side, this is not actually the corner, it is just bent up, and because of that, the design is broken, and you can clearly see a difference in it. It looks not as bad on camera as it does on real life, and especially it's just for this little logo symbol, and they just had to put in a 6x2 plate full of sticker for this little symbol. Like, this does not make any sense. Why? Terrible decision in my opinion, but okay, we're just continuing on. So we have one more step to do before I'm just gonna drink a sip of water. Terribly sorry. All right. Oh, I already can see some green. All right. Let's finish our little bit. Starting off with a trans clear 4x1 brick. That signal are supposed to be the back window, and also some slopes which are placed next to it. All right. We should do. The back side is getting finished now. We're building the headdress. Little trick if you're wanting to align something, which is a 1x1 piece like a plate with another plate or a baguette brick like you have here. An easy way is to just slide it on some flat surface like a table. The headdress are in. I don't know if you can tell because it's rather difficult to see. But I'm trying to hold it to you a little bit closer. It would be cool if they would have made a Targa out of this car instead of just the hardcore version, to be honest. Alright, so now it starts being plated on the side. We are starting with the left side, and we are putting on rows of plates to now put on some slopes. As you can see, this is how it's looking right now, with a couple of slopes being put on top. We are getting there. And now putting on 5 more stickers on this side. Oh boy. So we are going to ignore how crooked this will be because these ones are supposed to align over four different parts. You can guess that that is probably not going to work, at least not very well. All right, just a few more pieces and we are good. All right, the first three went kind of okay. The fourth one sadly did not, but well, it distracts a bit that the upper one here is also placed terrible. So at least we are at consistent at being inconsistent. It's something too. Nothing good, but something. All right, and also for the other side, we are doing exactly the same. This time starting off with the smaller one. Maybe it's a little bit easier to place it this way. All right. All right. So the other side has turned out a little bit better, I suppose, in comparison to this one at least. All right. Let's continue actually building. Now we are going over to the front side. Oops. All right. So we are at putting up the fenders. Up in the front, we have a little bit of orange and green for some reason, even though, as you get reminded a lot, it is a dark red car. Just putting on a lot of plates for rigidity and structure. All right, so we're making some good progress. The front side is now plated up quite well. And as you can see, at some point, when they have to, they use the right colors. It's just underneath that they don't care. Oh, curious. All right, so just putting on more plating on top to reach the matching height. And now more 2x4 plates up at the top to finish the look a little bit. All right, and now we are at the front side, putting stuff onto the bumper. Continuing with the form into the front, the angle gets carried on quite well with the bumper part and dragged into the slope pieces. I like that. Let's see how the actual bumper is being built. So right now we're just stacking up different sizes of plates. Alright, and now there's more stickers following. I just want to build these pieces on first before I put them on. I suppose these are like the fog lights or something in that realm. I am not exactly sure. Or are these the only lights? It's possible that these are actually the only lights of this car, I suppose. Alright. Alright, and the number plate up front is the second to last sticker on this set. The last one being the Corvette logo on a very oversized piece, probably again. Alright, first, as you can see here, we have a little bit of space left to fill out still, but this part perfectly fits into it. And if you look at it from this side, we now are just going to slide this in and are content. And I'm connecting it in just a second. Oh, there's somewhere. I'm gonna go and get that really quick. Just a second. Oh, that was quite a journey. That was under my couch. So, let's continue on. What I wanted to show you, we can align this right here. And the form gets carried on quite easily, or like quite nicely from here to the side. You will see it a little bit more apparent. All right. So before then, we have to finish the build by putting on the little sticker for the brand, which is solved in a terrible way in my opinion. Let me just show you why. If we look at this, it sadly has a lot of air enclosed to it again. And why is that? Because it's a 2x4 size sticker on a slope, which is not exactly the best way that this can be solved. Like if they just wanted to put the logo up here, which by the way is just this little part here in the front, they could have just put it on at least this, on like a 2x1 slided sticker piece, I think. Either if it's being put on a bigger piece by itself, it's the same as with this one here in the back. It would just look way better if it would not include that, I think. All right, let's finish the front grid. All right, so we have finished the top side of this tool. Now we just need to plate up the front row with a little bit more of decoration and put on some wheels. Alright, as you can make out the form already, it's getting finished quite well. Just a little bit more of a slope to be put on above the fenders. Alright. And I actually quite like how they build it up and how it's turning in terms of the angle. It's quite cute. And theoretically, I guess, you could you make this a targa? Well, no, not really. I mean, you can just leave away the top side of it, I guess. But there's something missing then, I feel like. So yeah, no, not really. I think it sadly has to be mounted with a feed stop. Alright, so the only thing that we're missing now are the wheels. Alright. So, last step of today's build. The wheels are just being put on here. Alright. So we are finished with model number 2. And now let me just clean up the area a little bit. And then I would like to talk about the sets a little. On this set. It has a little bit of the feeling of two sets in, for me, because usually the Speed Champion series always consists of one car, or and but each year they also bring out a set of double special where it's fitting to the brand. So this year I think it is McLaren or Mercedes. Mercedes. No, I think it's Mercedes this year, if I'm not mistaken. And one of them actually was a Formula One car, I think, actually. Well, I have to look into it. I'm kind of wanting to build that on stream too, probably. Um, so let me talk a little bit about what we built today. So I think as you saw during the build, um, depending which sort of parts you're looking for, as I also mentioned during building this, um, these sort of offsets always have a rather good price ratio. So if you need a certain color of bricks, especially slopes or plates, these sets can can be worthwhile, but it rather also depends what you really need. Because ordering from Bricklink usually can be cheaper in comparison if you just need a few parts. If you know you can make do with most of what is coming in these sets, well, then actually it would even make sense to maybe part out the rest, like for example, these two minifigurines that you do not need, and just put these to Bricklink. I suppose both of these can be sold for at least €1 or something like that, already lowering the price. When talking about the price, this time I did my research before the stream already. So this set ranges for around €40 or 39.99 in Europe, um, which will be probably rather similar to the price in dollar, because Lego usually just puts the prices into the same realm, where I have to say €40 for this set would be too much in my opinion. The sweet spot for where you can get this would be, I think, around 30 to maybe even 26 to 28 euros. I think that's a rather okay price for it. So the amount of parts included in this set are 512. So I'm a little bit too lazy to count it out now, but the price to piece ratio is very good in this sort of sense, um, in that you're actually getting quite a lot for what you're paying for, and also in comparison to, for example, the Tokyo build that we had a couple of days ago, whereas with where it is the same with basically all the architecture sets. The big problem with the architecture lineup is it is consisting of a lot of small pieces that usually are not very much reusable in many ways. Whereas, for example, this car, you can build quite a lot with this stuff, because this color can be used, for example, like I mentioned, for houses. These color here are a bunch of slopes and plates which can, for example, be used on street corners and stuff like that. Or if you build a construction site and the road is a little bit uneven, this is a great way to implement this sort of little builds into it. Like the dark bluish gray, for example, is exactly the color of the road surface plates that Lego sells since a couple of years by now. I think since last year or the year before that. what can also be said is if you just want it as display pieces, I think these are also pretty great. Just because if you if you put them into a shelf, you do not realize how much color is being used in the middle of it, which is also the biggest complaint I have about these is like the amount of unusable parts in the middle, which are just used for rigidity and structure and are all colored differently. If you can overlook this and you actually really just want a display model, I think these are great too because from a display side, these look really, really good, I think, in my opinion, for the fact that these are in a width of 8 bricks. It's always 8 bricks that these are wide. They are never wider than this. So I think for the scale that they're in, this is done very well. I especially like I appreciate the little details like the diffuser on the back side and on the front side, or also the spoiler and the little build with the back window where you can even look into it. That's rather a cool detail that they would not have to implement and which is cool that they do. They also give you different wheel caps with it if you're inclined to change it. So you can do that too. And also what I did not show you, there's a special dish, so dish with a print on it which is used for the wheel caps of the old cars, like the old timer models here, which I think also fits very well. And I like the wheel cap design with this sort of car build quite a lot too. So I think overall, uh, I gotta say I like this set quite a bit. Um, it's just the unusable colors in the middle that I would critique. Um, because I'm not just liking to praise um, something without any critique when there is something to critique. Um, like I said, for using it for parts, it is great for the surface level parts, but if you go into it just a little bit, if I take off just a couple of parts, it is a colored rainbow, so then the usability is not that great anymore. Other than that, I think it could be a great gift if you are just looking for one for something like a birthday coming up for someone. But I also think for adult collectors, it is quite a cute build. It is quite nice to put into your shelf. It does not take up so much space, and also it is minifigure scale, which fits great. For example, if you um, want to put it into a cityscape or a little layout with a diorama, these sort of cars always fit rather well because they are actually sized properly. They are sized much better than the little ones, for example, that you get in the city sets, because these, in my opinion, are crap for display. Whereas these actually look kind of nice in Lego City layouts. So that's also one of the usage cases I have for these because I'm building a cityscape for myself and I just kind of wanted to implement some of these cars to fill up the road plates. Also, if you want to fit these cars on the road plates that Lego sells too, they do not fit very well. So in order to fit these properly, either you have to build a road consisting of two 16 by 16 road plates next to each other, and then it's spaced out terribly because it's too far apart. Or you can also add another line of 2 by 4 bricks, at least, or 2 by something bricks to make the road more than 8 studs wide to actually fit them properly. Because like this, they actually hug the sides of the road plates and it looks a little bit terrible too. Just something to mention because I'm pretty sure, especially for the more adult collectors of this hobby, that's probably the most famous use case for these sort of things, whereas actually the play factor of these will very, very likely be negated by many. So I just wanted to mention that too. Like when you want to display them, it's sometimes better to just build your own road without the road plates because they do not fit on the road plates very well, which is also kind of a fail from Lego. But well, we are used to some mistakes from our beloved company, I guess. um, yeah, other than that, also another thing that I definitely want to mention once again in the summarization of this video is that the color of the stickers, especially like the top ones in yellow, do absolutely nothing in terms of matching with the surface level color, which is kind of something that will probably bother some people, me included, because I just do not understand why it is necessary to put this in, especially when you look at stuff like this part up here, which looks like it is also a sticker, but no, this is actually printed. The front side here, these are the only two printed elements on this whole kit, which do not make any sense to me because it's also a different color of yellow to anything else on it. When just by a little bit is a little bit too light, whereas the ones on the sticker sheet are too dark. All in all, there's three different versions of what is supposed to be the same color. Also not the best quality control feature, if I might say so myself. Um, Other than that, like I mentioned before, I think it is a rather recommendable set as long as you do not pay the MSRP for this set, because why should you? It is available in many different retail stores and also online. Just maybe leave out lego.com when you consider buying it, because there it is always the most expensive. Other than that, I hope that you liked the content of today's video slash stream. I hope I was able um, to show you this build in a satisfactory way, and not be too annoying while building and reviewing it. And other than that, I want to thank you all so much for viewing. I want to thank the new people following, especially, and I would totally appreciate if you liked or enjoyed today's stream slash video. If you also want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I always upload these sort of videos slash streams. So if you miss one, you can always catch up on it too. I usually try to stream every day, or at least 5 times a week. Mostly, like you already have seen, Lego content, sometimes also gameplay of video games I like, but usually it's just Lego and chatting with viewers. Other than that, I am looking forward to the next stream that um, is coming up probably tomorrow, and I hope I will see some of you guys there too. I thank you all again so much for watching and wish all of you a great evening, day, or morning, depending on the time that you are watching this. And see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.